vocation song.
Maitreem bhajata akhila hrijetri. Maitreem bhajata akhila hrijetri. Atmavadeva paranapi pashyata. Atmavadeva paranapi pashyata. Yuddham tyajata spartham tyajata. Yuddham tyajata spartham tyajata. Tyajata pareshvakramakramanam. Tyajata pareshvakramakramanam. Maitreem bhajata akhila hrijetri.
Thank you. Please be seated. May I now present a brief introduction about our chief guest. Sri Debajyoti Chaudhuri is an MBA from the Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi, and Certified Associate of the Indian Institute of Bankers. He's a passionate leader with a long track record of successfully managing assignments of a diverse nature. He is serving as the Managing Director and CEO of National E-Governance Services Limited, NeSL, for the last 3 years. Immediately prior to joining NeSL, he was the Chief General Manager in the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, IBBI, where he took some path-breaking initiatives like the implementation of the company's Rule 2017. Prior to joining IBBI, he was at the corporate office of India's largest bank, SBI, where he was responsible for compliance and risk and implementation of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code at its largest business vertical. Among his other assignments in SBI was the setting up of SBI Dubai operations as a highly profitable unit within a short span of time. As the CEO of SBI Dubai, he was much sought after by other Indian banks and also the Indian community of his views on issues like Indian economy, personal investment, trade flows, and exchange rates. He was conferred the Business Excellence and Innovative Best Practices Academy Award 2020 by the New Delhi Institute of Management. Sri Ray Chaudhuri's articles on issues related to insolvency have been published in reputed industry publications and national newspapers. He has been a speaker in numerous seminars and workshops related to corporate insolvency and in educational institutions like the NLUs. Under his leadership, NeSL has been accredited as the Best Innovation in RegTech at IFTA 2022, Best RegTech Solution at the BW 3rd edition of Festival of FinTech Awards 2023, and the Digital and FinTech Solution of the Year at the 2024 at the Dun & Bradstreet Award for Business Excellence Awards. In April 2024, Sri Debajyoti Chaudhuri was conferred the Leaders Award at the Big CIO Show and Awards 2024. May I now request our director, Professor Debashish Chatterjee, to formally welcome our chief guest by presenting a bouquet and punadam. Thank you, sir. May I now request our director, Professor Debashish Chatterjee, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a near-packed room, which is very heartening. It was with great pride and joy that I welcome you to this very special occasion, the 30th Foundation Day of the Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. 30 years, that's long enough for a child to become a parent, for a sapling to become a banyan tree, and for a management school to become an institution. We are deeply honored to have with us Sri Debajyoti Chaudhuri, Managing Director and CEO of National E-Governance Services Limited. He has served at the forefront of India's digital governance and financial infrastructure. Sri Chaudhuri's distinguished career spans over 3 decades across banking, financial, markets, and regulatory leadership. His journey is a reminder that finance is not just about numbers, it is about vision, efficiency, and public service. Mr. Chaudhuri, we are privileged to have you here with us on this milestone day. Can we hear a round of applause for him? Today, as we celebrate the 30th Foundation Day of our beloved institution, you may be tempted to ask, what is foundation? Foundation is that part of the building which cannot be seen. But if that's weak, then its results can be seen very quickly. It doesn't take 30 years to see those results. The building will not stand the test of time if the foundation is weak. Similarly, our management school is standing tall today, not because of that bell tower, not because of the paint on the walls, but because of the silent sacrifices, the unnoticed struggles, and the quiet dedication of countless people. Some of them are already sitting here. So please consider yourselves hugged. I can't name you individually, but that doesn't mean that I do not understand the contribution. I do not acknowledge that contribution. I do. And so our institution has arguably one of the finest infrastructures in the world. However, how about the inner structure of personal, professional values that has kept us going for this long? Our mission is globalizing Indian thought, but this mission is driven by three fundamental values: authenticity, sustainability, and fulfillment. Satyam, Nityam, Purnam. As long as these values are lived by generations to come, our institution will be able to defy decay and old age that most institutions are prone to. My gratitude to all our former directors who, each in their own way, steered this institute through times of challenge and opportunity. Heartfelt thanks to my colleagues, the faculty, the members of the staff. Some of them have spent more than 25 years in service, and you'll see them today. And students who work tirelessly every day to uphold the reputation of this institute. The chairperson and the board of governors for their steadfast support and guidance, to the government, both the state and the central government, for creating the space where we exist, and our alumni who now sit in boardrooms, ministries, classrooms, startup garages across the world. You are our proud ambassadors of globalizing Indian thought. And look, 30 years ago, IIM Kozhikode was a dream perched on a hilltop. Some of you may remember these early days when we didn't just have classrooms, we didn't have basic infrastructure, no playground, no swimming pool. Lots of things that we have today. So we just did not build those classrooms, we built hope. And look at where we are today. Now ranked among the top 3 business schools of the country, top 68 in the world according to FT. Along the way, we became known for challenging status quo, whether it was leading the way in gender diversity, embracing digital classrooms before they became fashionable, offering the first liberal arts MBA in this country, the first practice-track PhD, or housing India's first business museum. Our Kochi campus is preparing to host the undergraduate BMS program. We have become a torchbearer of Indian management education with our presence in virtually every sector of management education, every category. We have proved that excellence in industry can go hand in hand. 30 years is not a long time in the life of a civilization. We are attempting to globalize Indian thought, but it is, however, long enough for a fragile educational experiment to test its own relevance and endurance, to be marked by its successes and its failures, and to begin by acquiring the aura of invincibility. Looking ahead for the next 30 years, some of you sitting here will lead the institution into its 50th year in 2047. I would not be here, many of us would not be here. When India itself will mark 100 years of independence, imagine the weight of that moment, the pride of that moment, an institute and a nation growing together. Let us take this institute forward with courage, creativity, and compassion. Let us continue to build not just careers, but character, not just managers, but leaders, not just success stories, but stories of service. For students, let this institution not just be a livelihood, chasing placement packages, but a milestone for life's pilgrimages. On this day, let us remind ourselves the worth of this institution cannot be measured only in tables or in fleeting comfort of rankings. Its truest measure lives in the lives it shapes, in the generations it prepares to think, to serve, and to build. These are our unseen foundational monuments, our invisible and our invincible history. Let us then resolve to strengthen these foundations going forward. To all those who have made this institution what it is today, I share a debt of gratitude and pride and a sense of accomplishment. And this is just the beginning of greatness. Thank you for being here. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your warm address. May I now invite our chief guest, Mr. Debajyoti Ray Chaudhuri, to deliver the Foundation Day address.
Professor Debashish Chatterjee, Deans of the Institute, esteemed Board of Governors, members of the faculty, staff, and distinguished guests. I'm delighted to be here today to celebrate the 30 remarkable years of the Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. An anniversary is a time for reflection, for taking pride on one's achievements, and also an occasion for reaffirmation of the values and vision of the institution. Of course, a 30th anniversary is a very special one to cherish and to remember as an extremely important milestone. I understand that the past year has been especially momentous as this institute has been recognized on securing the third position in the prestigious NIF India rankings. And I was discussing this with the director on lunch, during lunch today. I think it's an enormous achievement considering that we are now ahead of many other reputed institutions. So my warm congratulations to all of you. And I would say that it's a testament to the hard work, vision, and collective efforts of every person who has contributed to making this possible. It's also a symbol of your ascent to the top tier of management education. And we at National E-Governance Services Limited are proud to state that some of our alumni do work with us. I also appreciate the Institute's vision of globalizing Indian thought. In a world that often likes to look to the West for inspiration, IIM Kozhikode has dared to be inspired by the richness of India's heritage and the principles of Satyam, Nityam, and Puranam, as Professor Debashish stated in his address. IIM Kozhikode has a history of pushing boundaries and setting new standards. It was the first institute in Asia to pioneer interactive learning programs for working executives through satellite delivery systems as early in 2001. A key milestone came in 2011 with the inauguration of the first ever Business History Museum. Incidentally, I did spend some time in this museum and it struck a chord with me. And I'll dwell on this during the later part of my address. I observe that heritage is balanced by a very forward looking outlook. I congratulate the Institute on the launch of innovative programs like the Bachelor of Management Studies, Honors with Research, which is aligned with India's national education policy to create a new generation of leaders. The Institute's curriculum incorporates subjects like generative AI and digital transformation to ensure the students are fully prepared for a rapidly changing world. And I see in this room as well the gender diversity, with a significant number of women, even in the latest MBA cohort. This is a clear signal that you are shaping leaders who will thrive in a pluralistic society. I'm also extremely happy to note that the activities of the Institute go beyond academics. The Calicut Half Marathon, a student-driven initiative, has become a landmark social event promoting unity, wellness, and awareness. Even as we celebrate this momentous occasion in this lovely campus atop the scenic hills of Kunnamagalam, we cannot lose sight of the challenges facing our country today. Our largest trading partner and the world's largest economy has taken some unilateral decisions which affect us adversely. This was a shock, as there was a gradual upgrade of our relationship to a strategic partnership over the past 2.5 decades. However, India is a 5,000-year-old civilization. And that's why, as I stated before, the Business History Museum struck a chord with me. We have faced many challenges in our history, and we have overcome them. I think most of you would have seen the Business History Museum, so you would be aware that India at one point of time was the largest economy in the world. It was also one of the richest places on earth. But we were not united as a country. Our legendary riches drew waves of invaders who attacked our country and plundered our treasures. With the industrial development in the West, coupled with foreign rule, and this also we can see in the Business History Museum, our country was flooded with foreign-made goods. In fact, the Business History Museum talks about the fact that we did not have basic infrastructure like steel. This influx of foreign-made goods destroyed our local industries and all our traditional artisans. Finally, we secured our independence. But even as our country was reeling from famines at many places, simultaneously partition brought its own horrors, with large sections of the population being forced to migrate, leaving their homes and livelihood. Even as we took the reins of our country from the British, there was a statement from the former UK PM Winston Churchill. He said, and I quote, India will fall back rapidly through the centuries into the barbarism and privations of the Middle Ages. After independence, there were many challenges. There was a war, multiple wars at the western and eastern borders. Despite that, one of the significant achievements since independence has been in food security. There are still some concerns about hunger and deprivation in some pockets, but we are no longer dependent on foreign aid for our food. The focus has now to be on increasing the nutrition content in our diet by augmenting domestic production and availability of pulses and oilseeds. With the improvement in healthcare, the longevity of our people has increased. When I grew up, I was told that our large population is a disadvantage. Accordingly, efforts were made to control our population. Even across the globe, China enforced a one-child policy to control its population. Of course, this was reversed much later. Today, as I speak, we are the most populous country in the world. And a young population is seen as a competitive advantage for us. One, because of the large workforce, and also we are one of the largest markets in the world for consumption of goods and services. Our history has shown that we need to be united to face external challenges. However, today, this has to be not just on the political front, but also as far as business is concerned. Even after many years of independence, every state in India had its own state and local taxes, like octroi, which impeded the movement of goods within the country. So although we were one country, but we're not one market. The GST was a big reform, bringing the entire country under a single unified tax network, facilitating freight movement and optimizing logistics cost. Moreover, GST helps in formalization of the economy. And the GST database is a rich source of information. It can be used by lenders to appraise working capital requirements, especially for the MSME sector, which does not have access to sophisticated accounting systems. I stated earlier that a population, especially the substantial proportion of working age persons, is a potential advantage. We can harness it only if we are able to give gainful employment to our youth. In the past, it was government jobs which were coveted by all for their stability and steady income. However, now the need of the hour is for industry to partner with education institutes like yours to ensure that we have manpower who is trained to meet the requirements of business. The focus also has to be on entrepreneurship and encouraging small and medium enterprises. India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Over the past decade, many of India's fintech entrepreneurs have made it big. The COVID-19 pandemic, while it was disastrous, but it also triggered an unparalleled nationwide surge in online shopping and food delivery. Many of the startups reap the benefits. They've all taken good advantage of India's young population and easy access to smartphones, mobile connectivity, and digital ecosystem. These success stories should inspire others. But we also need to have an enabling environment where entrepreneurship and enterprise thrives. How do we do that? Now, since 1991, as part of liberalization, several reform measures have been taken to facilitate private enterprise. The requirement of licenses for starting a business was eased. Environment was created for fair competition by strengthening our regulatory framework of financial markets and others. Thus, institutions like the Securities and Exchange Board of India, Competition Commission of India came into being. This was tantamount to the entrepreneur having two freedoms. What are those freedoms? The freedom to enter and the freedom to do business. But there was still one freedom which was missing, and that was the freedom to exit. What is the freedom to exit? This came with the notification of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code in 2016. The idea of freedom for exit is that if a business fails for genuine reasons, then the entrepreneur should be given a fair opportunity to exit with full honors. It's also to accept that genuine business failures are a part of normal market forces. Thus, both the GST and the IBC or Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code were landmark reforms to strengthen the fundamentals of the Indian economy. As per recent news reports, these two legislations are being amended to further enhance their effectiveness. A third source of competitive strength for economy is technology. India today stands at an inflection point. Not merely consumer innovation, but originating it. from Aadhaar to UPI, we have shown the world how thoughtfully designed technology can transform lives. And I'll dwell on this later. Nandan Nilekani, the father of Aadhaar, had famously used the word population scale. And he said, and I quote, I think it's important to realize that we designed all this digital infrastructure and population scale with the idea of building innovation on top of it, just like Jio could use it for their eKYC or know your customer to do mobile connections. I'll tell you how it transforms lives. India's DPI is regarded as one of the best, if not the best in the world. Financial inclusion was one of our biggest challenges, and we have achieved this breakthrough only through our DPI, or digital public infrastructure. The Jan Dhan accounts gave a bank account to almost everyone in India. Through the direct benefit transfer, we were able to reach out to the most underprivileged of our people. And this provided great succor, especially during the difficult times of COVID-19. We now need to ensure that the benefits of financial inclusion schemes reach the eligible beneficiaries so that they can procure productive assets to have sustainable incomes to keep them out of poverty. We should become the world's third largest economy very soon. But it's equally important to uplift our people from poverty. Technology used to be used in other areas as well, like manufacturing of high-end electronic devices and industrial equipment. Further, as the learnings from history, we cannot compromise on issues related to national security. Recent events have demonstrated that modern warfare is constantly evolving with the increasing use of drones, precision-guided missiles, and electronic detection technologies. With a massive defense spending, a large technical and scientific manpower, we have the potential to have scale and be self-sufficient in defense preparedness. The development of overall manufacturing sector with focus on defense can take place if emphasis is placed on MSMEs so that they can innovate and thus promote high technology as well as employment. A thriving securities markets with capital being readily available to companies with good corporate governance and robust business model would help drive this process. I am happy to state that National E-Governance Services, or NeSL, is focused on many of these national priorities. We have the word national in our name, and we are clear that in a diverse and populous country like ours, technology solutions must be scalable, it must be cost-effective, it has to be secure, and it has to be interoperable. Only then can they truly serve both institutions and citizens. NeSL is India's first information utility. Accordingly, when we started operations, we had no choice but to innovate. NeSL, an electronic repository of financial information, was envisaged to support the processes of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. But today it is providing services to the financial services sector and beyond. NeSL's digital document execution powers various financial inclusion schemes. And whereas NeSL's EBG benefits applicants of BGs, most of whom are MSMEs, whose working capital is often locked up in the long procurement cycles associated with traditional physical bank guarantees. I will also give the industry perspective on a very contentious issue, which is that of work-life balance. Firstly, if one is passionate about one's work, this 60 hours or 70 hours does not matter. Some of you may be into athletics and you may have experienced something called second wind. Second wind is an endurance sport. It keeps you going. There's also something called runner's high, which just makes you enjoy going. Business needs a momentum. Business has timelines. An untimely break may disrupt continuity or even loss of a contract. However, on a more practical note, work-life balance has to be measured over a period, say a quarter or a half year. It also has to be complemented with flexi work wherever feasible. There has to be adequate time for nutrition, rest, and exercise. Work can never be at the cost of health. Rather, it's important to be healthy to full justice to your work. Finally, about leadership. As a leader, I strive to set the vision and define the boundaries, but allow my team to innovate within them. I trust them while maintaining just enough oversight to ensure direction. This micromanagement suffocates creativity, and total detachment breeds chaos. The true art of leadership lies in the balance. In conclusion, I would say that it was my absolute pleasure to be here at this 30th annual day celebrations. I wish IIM Kozhikode all the very best in all its future endeavors. And I'm sure in the years to come, under the dynamic leadership of your director, the institute will continue to excel in all areas as before. I thank you for your patient hearing. I loved delivering this address as much as I enjoyed preparing it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your presence and inspiring words have left a lasting impact on all of us who are fortunate enough to be in attendance. Now, it's time to honor the faculty and staff members who have completed 25 years of dedicated and distinguished service to the Institute. I request our director, Professor Debajyoti Chatterjee, and our chief guest to kindly present a token of appreciation in recognition of their invaluable contributions to the Institute. I'll now request the nominated faculty and staff members to come onto the stage one by one as their names are announced.
Before that happens, I would request some of the founding fathers of this institution who've been around for a lot of time. If you wish to speak something, feel free to do so. Saji is a little shy, so he will come second. Anand, come now. I know you can speak impromptu. Come here. Not a request, it's an order. Come. All right.
respected director, my dear colleagues, it is to be extempore. I never thought I'll be asked to come to the stage and speak a few words. So this is almost my 19th year in the campus. So when I joined here, as in the past, I thought I might be here for 2-3 years and then move on for other opportunities. But then I got stuck here. Not want of opportunities, but there is something about IIM Kozhikode that grows on you. It is not the beauty of the campus, even though people routinely describe it as a resort. But even if it is a resort, after a few years, it becomes commonplace. It is not the beauty, but it is about the culture or the freedom that you enjoy, trying to do things which you could never do elsewhere, trying to imagine some ideas which, if you could implement, might transform the institute. And what facilitates this is the empowering culture, and that the culture comes from the people. So, despite occasional interpersonal issues, occasional mistrust, whenever there is something new that comes up, an idea that comes up, so we receive not just support, but instead wholehearted cooperation. So that is that culture that allow us to take risk. Of course, whenever we do anything new, there is always a risk. You may fail. But when a large number of people are with you, they are praying for you, they are working with you, they are taking time out of their busy lives, when they are spending time away from their family. Like ideally, we are supposed to be a 5-day campus from Monday to Friday. But you come here on a Saturday, you come here on a Sunday, late at night, 11 o'clock. Professor Salman sitting in front of me routinely calls me at 11:30 in the night, whether it is from US or whether it is from Meenchanda. So that is a time. So one day when he called me, he was telling me that I knew this is the right time to call you because I know you are going to be available. I don't know how many institutions where a colleague would dare to call another colleague at 11:30 in the night and expect the other person to take the call. So calls during late night in many places will be considered to be an intrusion. A request to meet on a Saturday or a Sunday might be considered to be not advisable. But in IIM Kozhikode, this is a norm, not because Professor Debajyoti Chatterjee has ordered all of us to be available 24/7. He has never said that. In fact, this is the history or the legacy of the institute where it is possible for us to call any of the senior faculty or any of the staff members. Like I still remember during the time of COVID, 2020, that was a time when IIM Kozhikode, for the first time in its history, thought of starting 3 new programs. Even one program itself in an year is too much, but we launched 3 programs. So we had a PGP LSM, completely new, PGP Finance, completely new, and a 1-year MBA. We had our doubts. People were suggesting, what if it doesn't succeed? Would everybody be okay with it? We can't call a meeting. Even Zoom was becoming popular, so that a meeting itself, it may not be possible to have everybody in. So there were a small team of people. I remember Vinod. So Vinod used to somehow manage, the police on the road, trying to prevent people from coming to the campus. So he used to take a very circuitous route. I don't know how he used to come there on a scooter. And then he used to be in the morning. I remember Praship. Praship was staying a few kilometers away. Somehow or the other, he will manage to be there in the campus. I remember Professor Deepa. So she was always there. I don't know how they reach the campus. Those who stay inside the campus, they will reach the campus. There is no doubt about it. I used to meet Professor Arkam going for a walk every day morning and every day evening. And that is when I used to have conversations with him. So he was alone, Professor Kakani was alone. Only 2 of them are available. So they used to go for a walk in the morning and at evening. Nowadays, I don't think he goes for a walk. He is too busy. So these 3 programs were kind of conceived, imagined. The handbook was written, the admissions were conducted, interviews were conducted. All of these were conducted during that 2 months of April, May, when the entire country was under lockdown. And every day from morning to evening, Professor Chatterjee was available in his room. Maybe I must have had the most number of talks with him. Nowadays, it becomes, we have too many programs, too many things going on. It becomes a little bit more difficult to find him to be free. But those days, he was absolutely free. You can have a 2-hour talk on what is his vision of liberal studies, what is his idea of humanities. And he used to talk and talk and talk, and I used to listen, and then I used to take notes, and then that is how we used to write. And then when I will write a page, then I'll share it with Professor Deepa. She will send it back. This was all done during the time of the April, May 2020. I don't know whether any other institute could do something like this. Even the elder IIMs or some of the younger IIMs could do something like this. So this is something we see in startups. IIM Kozhikode was long time ago a startup. When I joined this place, it was kind of like a startup. Professor Saji used to run around, where are we going to get the next MDP from? I remember Professor Saji, me and Professor Keyur going to Mumbai, trying to convince Reliance to bring an MDP here. And Reliance was one of our largest clients. Professor Rupesh was there. Professor Chatterjee was there. And they asked us, you should write case studies about our company, about our own experiences. Then only you can, do this program. And we wrote case studies for them. I used to remember traveling with him to Professor Om and Professor Saji to Punjab. It was in Batinda. We were there for 3 days doing a series of programs for TechQuip. And then subsequently, we had programs for almost all the colleges in South India. So this is how we created the training programs, the MDPs, the faculty development programs. So when I joined, if I could have 3 hours of training in an entire year, that was considered to be tremendous achievement. 3 hours of training in an entire year. If I could have one course of 18 hours for EPGP, those days there was no EPGP, it was EMEP. It was considered to be an achievement. And now what happens is it's difficult to find faculty for a program because everybody is busy with so many programs. So this is the scaling up. And the scaling up happened as a result of this collective work ethos. Even now it continues. When you have a lot of young faculty who join by God's grace, or maybe the collective accumulation of this good ideas, we have the freedom to call each other. We have the freedom to walk into a room. I remember Professor Radhakrishna Pillai, when he was the dean, without any rhyme or reason, I could walk into his room and I could argue with him. This is what we would like to have. That still remains. I don't have to take an appointment. I can't think of any exception like that. So we could talk to each other, and the decisions gets taken after extensive discussions around the kiosk. And that lady serving us in that kiosk might have more of institutional secrets than some of the senior faculty members there. She might be the first to come to know about Bachelor of Management Studies program. Because usually now I encounter people like Professor Rachappa and Professor Tangamani near to the, or Professor Anand or Professor Sarkar. Professor Sarkar is always seen next to the kiosk, and he has a carrying voice, and he speaks in the kiosk at block 1, and that will be heard in block 3 also. So they must be the first ones to come to know about it. I don't know about any other institution where this kind of a culture is there. Earlier, I worked with a university where everybody calls everyone else sir. But then finding people, talking to them, getting support, it becomes extremely, extremely difficult. Well, we are changing, we are large, all the problems of scaling up are there. Now, I don't know the names of all my colleagues. Sometimes when I see somebody on the corridor, I don't know whether they are a PhD student or whether they are a senior colleague or they are here simply for doing an MDP. So things are changing. Earlier, we knew everyone. So the birthdays were celebrated with everybody in the campus. But now we are large and it may be a problem, but that culture still remains. And another important part of that culture which we cherish is that here there is not much of a difference between a professor and an administrative officer or a person who is regular and who is on contract. Everybody maintains a sense of onam in Kerala, like everybody is the same. So we treat each other rather equally without any variations of academic background or positions or anything. So that is another most important part of this culture, an inclusive culture. So that inclusive culture, openness, imaginative approach, this is what probably make at least me stay in the campus. I think I have another 9 years left, and I believe Professor Saji might have another 5 years left. Professor Chatterjee might have another 5 years left. So 2047, I am sure none of us will be here. So even if some of the faculty who happen to join early, I don't like to call me a senior, but some of us happen to join early. And since we joined early, we got more opportunities. Could see things evolving here. So I wish that even after by 2047, the institute would remain it is. Maybe new blocks will be added, more programs will be added. Our turnover might be a lot more, our students will be more accomplished. But at the same time, whatever we have built, that culture, that openness, that trust, it will still remain. Thank you.
Thank you. Listening to Anand, I get the firm impression that this so-called resort will be the last resort for or most of you. I'm telling this not out of a sense of, for frustration. Last resort means that you've seen institutions and you've grown with those institutions, but when it becomes part of your own nature, then it's very difficult for you to deal with. So when a student comes in here, they say, what have you given us in terms of shared rooms in the hostels? There are a lot of challenges in mess food. But then you tell them you've got 5 years of extended life for being here. That solves all problems. So the quality of mental and physical life is, I think, very important. But more importantly, this is what Anand said. And I didn't know he would speak this long. He got carried away a little bit. And the thing is that, this is exactly what it is. This is why it grows on you and the stories. And I'm sure when we go, we'll be living the stories for a long time, much longer than you'd imagine. Once you get away from this place, you know how beautiful it is. Once you get out of India, you know what a great country this is. Saji, would you like to share something? Come.
Chief guest and friends. I think after this long speech by Anand, I think there is no, I'm sure that you are not ready for another long speech. But I think I should basically look at a point which Anand mentioned about the culture. And perhaps one of the reason why that culture has happened is because of the day we started this campus, Foundation Day. The Foundation Day actually was on Tiruvonam Day. I don't know, especially those of you come from other part of India, knows that Kerala celebrates a festival called Onam. And that is a festival of hope. We always think that prosperity is going to come back. A king which has left the country long back will come back. And it is the culture of inclusiveness which was that time the king was there. Perhaps that has actually touched on every aspect of the campus, all throughout. So even when we were very small, and I was fortunate that I was there at the deep days of poverty when we didn't have a campus, we didn't have a building, we have to be in different parts of another host institution to a place where which is becoming so nice, because this campus was at some point of time was said that nothing can grow here. The nearby institution which was owning this campus said that this hill is something which you cannot make anything. You cannot have water, you don't have any trees, nothing. And from that, it has become one of what Professor Chatterjee said, one of the most beautiful academic resorts in the world, perhaps. That's because of that hope. And I believe that hope is there from day one onwards. When we were small, our first director was asked, are you going to compete with IIM Ahmedabad? So then he said, we are not going to compete with IIM Ahmedabad. We are going to create something different than IIM Ahmedabad, because IIM Ahmedabad was at that point the number one. And then we actually started looking at a different course. So we, as a first non-metro, non-industrial city IIM, because every other IIM which has happened was in a metro or in a in the industrial city, we wanted to show something which is different. So from that day onwards, the day it started onwards, there is a hope to make it better, better, better. And I'm sure that today when we are looking at a BMS as a new program, again, we are looking at a very different from all others are doing. And I think this difference is, and that spirit, and in fact, Mr. Chaudhuri mentioned a very interesting point. If you are passionate and if you love the work, 60-hour day is actually too small, right? 60-hour week, 60-hour week is too small. And I think that is true with each of us here. And I'm very, very fortunate that I've been a part of this community who actually come together at every point of time and actually excel in whatever we do. Thank you very much. In fact, for my journey of last 25, 27 years here, I was away for a few years, but it was always been a great experience. Like Anand said, we could always walk to anybody's room. In fact, when we started the campus, we said that we will never have wooden doors so that we can actually see what others are doing. To that level of transparency and inclusiveness, what was the institution has actually stood for. And I'm very happy that all our leaders actually stood with that and helped to go it into scale up very, very higher heights across the years. Thank you very much, all of you, for my personal journey here. And I hope I will be able to continue to be part of it even after Anand retires me in another 6 years. I hope I will be able to be here for more period of time in some way or other. Thank you very much.
Now calling upon to the dais the faculty and staff members who have completed 25 years of service at IIMK. Professor Saji Gopinath. Shri Vinod Kumar K. Dr. Sunita T. Dr. P. Srijaya. And Shri Bose KT. As per the traditions of the Institute, faculty and staff members who have completed 15 years of glorious service in the Institute are felicitated on the Foundation Day. I will now request nominated faculty and staff to come onto the stage one by one as their names are called out. Professor M.P. Sebastian. Professor Shubhashish De. Professor Manoranjan Dal.
I'm not sure. Anytime you speak, especially about your history in IMK, for me, very difficult to not be emotional. I'm not sure. Many people remember the times 15 years before. Anand would know. Things were very different. I came from Canada, and coming to IIMs and becoming part of the faculty was actually a dream come true. And 15 years, I can't believe that it just passed just like it's yesterday, which shows a lot about the institution, which shows essentially somehow, I'll not claim that everything was smooth sail. Of course, we all had our ups and downs. Somehow, the institute supported us in every way. And that's one of the aspects that Anand was also mentioning. You know, we never felt that nothing thrown at us would not be possible for us to surmount. And that support is so essential. And hopefully, when we retire, Anand, when he's retiring, everybody, maybe 15 more years from now, I hope this institute remains that supportive for young faculty from various parts of the world coming and making it here. And we never left because we didn't want to. It's just a phenomenal place to work and live. It's just unbelievable that we were fortunate and that, we are here. And then Professor Chatterjee, maybe I'll probably just leave there. Everybody knows what, I will not be here until he kind of saw potential in me. And without his support and faith, I'm not sure I'll be having my academic career at all, right? So pretty much everything I have owes it to this person. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Professor Manoranjan Dal. Professor Adanu Atikari. Professor Rajesh Srinivas Ubadhyayula. Professor Joshi Joseph. Professor G. Tangamani. Professor G. Anand. Shri Pavan Kumar Singh. Shri Sojan George. Shri Muhammad Mustafa A.
नमस्कार, मैं हिंदी में बोलना चाहूँगा सभी स्टाफ मेंबर्स के लिए और बाकी फैकल्टी जो है हमारे सीनियर्स। ये जगह एक ऐसी जगह है जहाँ लोग आते हैं, जाते कम हैं। बहुत कम ऐसी जगह होती है जहाँ लोग आते हैं और जाने की सोचते भी नहीं हैं। मेरे लिए भी यही जगह ऐसी है एंड आई एम रियली इन फैक्ट फीलिंग इमोशनल टू बी इन दिस प्लेस, गॉड्स ओन प्लेस। थैंक यू।
Shri Sojan George. Shri Muhammad Mustafa A. And Shri Sudesh Kumar KM. May now request our director, Professor Debajyoti Chatterjee, to honor the chief guest by presenting a memento. Thank you, sir. Please be seated. May I now request Lieutenant Colonel M. Julius George, retired, Head Administration and HR, to propose the vote of thanks.
"30 long years, a wonderful milestone for all of us to be present and celebrate this day. Respected Chief Guest, sir, Shri Debajyoti Ray Chaudhuri, thank you very much, sir, for taking your time out today and to be with us. Director, sir, Professor Debashish Chatterjee, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. 1996 to 2025, as we mark the 30th Foundation Day of IIM Kozhikode, we honor the journey of transformation, thought leadership, academic, and all-round excellence that has shaped countless leaders and visionaries. From humble beginning in 1996 to becoming a globally recognized institution, IIM continues to inspire faculty, staff, and leadership, past and present. Let us take this opportunity to thank people who have worked behind the scenes, all the staff and faculty members who have made this day memorable, especially the General Administration Office, the State Engineering, Computer Center, Director Office, and all other staff who have worked to make this day and this program successful. We also take this opportunity to thank the security staff, the housekeeping, horticulture, media persons, and the catering staff. Thank you for being the part of 30 young and vibrant IIM Kozhikode.
Thank you, sir. All are requested to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
May I kindly request the audience to remain standing?